We have the foliage capital of the world, the city of Apopka, right in our backyard. So we have lots of plants to choose from, but how do I know which one is right for me? Tom, you're a foliage expert, right?
Some days, yeah, but I got a quiz for you first.
Oh, okay.
Okay, now, I've got
I
all
hope you
these,
don't think I'm an expert.
I've got all these plants up here now, okay? And I'll tell you, it's between the top three here. Which one has made up the state of Florida and Apopka famous? Out of these three plants, which one has
Well,
made
I remember Apopka used to be called Fern City, so I'm going to guess the fern.
You are right. Yay. Yeah, this was the original foliage plant. Started out in South Florida in the Miami area, and very quickly was up in Central Florida. And this was the first foliage plant grown.
And still, you can buy fern baskets today. They're
can.
lovely. Yeah, and ferns plants.
Okay, now next question. In Apopka, what was the number 2 plant out of all these? You got a 50-50 chance here out of all these that were grown in Apopka.
Do you mean back in the day or
Back in
now?
the day.
Back in the day. I'm going to guess philodendron because I think every house had a philodendron back in the day.
That's right. Robert Mitchell introduced this to Florida, and then when the fern industry, I guess, was being heavily marketed, he started this plant here. So it's kind of neat. It's a regular philodendron. The last one is the pothos, and that one there used to be, when they were keeping tracks, the #1 selling foliage plant in Florida. As they ship it out and everything. But it's just kind of neat to know a little bit of the history.
And look at how far we've come now with all these selections. So what are some important factors for growing plants inside?
You know, inside the home, it's light. Light's #1. If you don't have the right light, it doesn't make a difference what you do with water and fertilizer. So find that neat spot where you have a nice bright location, and just about any one of these will do well. The one you have in your hand, the Dieffenbachia, is probably going to need the brightest light but not direct sun. And then you have the Anthurium over there next to you with the flowers. And the Anthurium will keep its foliage in the lower light, but it won't flower like that. So light is #1 no matter what.
#1. So can you really grow something in total darkness or?
Mushrooms. That's about it. These, the lowest light plant here, the one that can take the lowest light will probably be the pothos, and you'll see those hanging in dark corners of restaurants and all over the place. And some people plant those outdoors, and that's when you get the real big leaves on them. Next would probably be the philodendron, and after that it's a toss-up, Dracaena, and maybe 1 or 2 others. But there's no such thing as a plant that won't grow without good light.
So now I have it in the right spot in the house.
Yep.
What's my care going to be like?
Make sure it stays moist. The old touch test is still the main one. You even find people that take care of plants. They use dibbles or something to stick down in the pot. I just use my finger, and if it feels moist, then it's okay. Depending on where it is in the house, some of these plants may need water every couple of days. Most of them only need it probably once every week or so. But so the touch test is #1. The other thing is a lot of people think they need fertilizer. Fertilizer is probably the last thing these plants need. They come with fertilizer. If you want, you can go ahead and feed them every once in a while, maybe every month or 2. And some people say they really don't need fertilizer at all inside the home.
So what was the plant that you've had the longest? Of all these are your plants.
Okay, all of them are my plants, and they're all fairly young. Probably the Anthurium is the one I've had the longest now. It's probably maybe 1.5, 2 years old. The other ones are my traveling buddies, and I've had these. I keep them small so I can move them fairly easily, but I have larger specimens of all of these, and they just get too big to carry around.
And I think I've had a pothos in my house probably for 10 years.
Oh yeah,
you know.
They can. They can grow a long period of time. You can even grow them in water. They do very well.
And foliage plants are good to have inside, aren't they?
Yep, they help fight air pollution. They help break down some of the chemicals that are harsh inside the home. Plus, there's just the aesthetic value. Just being there with a plant nearby, you got your buddy there and right inside the house. So it's kind of fun to have them around.
And really, I think it really adds to the ambiance of a house,
It
too.
does.
And if you can't garden outside, if you're in an apartment or something like that,
You
get
at least
some
have
plants
some.
on
They
you.
do get insects and things like that, so periodically wipe the foliage down, get a wet cloth, or take them over to a sink and hose them down. They like it. I always say rub-a-dub-dub in the tub with your plants. It's kind of fun. Take a bath with your plant.
Well, Tom, we now know a lot more about plant selection and Apopka.
And about me.
And about you. And about you. Thank you so much. Foliage plants are great additions to the house or the porch. Have fun shopping. I know I will. Maybe this weekend.